Well, there's only one way to start this video, and it's this. The booze coyotes. Big surrender. What a day. What a day. What an absolutely fantastic day. Right, I've started early. The weekends don't get much better than this. Let's get to some of the comments. Let's just get right into the comments before we even start talking about the game. If you are on this, try and share it on some social medias to get some more Celtic fans on. I will do that just now myself. We'll put it onto Twitter. Let me just do this quickly, because there are only 10 people online. We are running a bit later than normally for this time of day. Where are we? Right, who's all online? Something today. Paul Imrie's online. Won the sheep. What an afternoon. My jaws are sore from smiling. Hail, hail. Something today says the Boo Boys will be right out. The fact is, my brother sent me a video and it was 5:05 and they were still playing football. At 5:05, they were still playing. The spanner will not be required tonight. The Sevconians will be back in their box. How long will it take before they sack them, the Boo Boys? And let's get that back on. Wait a minute, because we'll have to get it again in case you missed it right at the beginning. We'll get back onto WhatsApp. Let me just see it. I'm going to get it. They'll hear from Kirkcaldy. And it was good to see that there was practically nobody left in Ibrox this afternoon. Sorry about talking about them, because we're top of the league. You're looking down on the... As my brother said to this, he's laughing about the fact that it was... We'll have to get the boos on. The Boo Brigade is out in force. Nicholson is trying to get Beale on a 5-year deal. Oh, that would be fantastic if he did. Fantastic. Right, let's talk about the Celtic first of all. There are only 35 people online. I'm not expecting a lot of people online. That's what I was going to do. Share it on to Twitter. First of all, let's do that. Let's just do some of this. And then we'll listen. I'm going to listen to what Brendan Rodgers said about the game also in a minute. Go live. Saturday. There we go. Share that. Share and Twitter. Share it on Twitter. Try and get some of the troops on. Because let's face it, everybody will probably be listening to them having a complete collapse watching for Vietnam. When I get to bed, it's midnight. I'm working tomorrow, and there's too much hilarity. Says Ray. Wow, out in Vietnam. What is just out in Vietnam? I'm going to show that one because that's just fantastic. Out in Vietnam, Ibrox was empty at full time. Yeah, Helen, I seen that. My brother sent me some video footage at 5:05 at night. What was the ref? Was the ref just playing to try and get them to score? You never know. Sevconian started leaving in the 70th minute. The place was empty. Let's look at the league first of all. The WhatsApp has just went absolutely bonkers. That's not going to show you this one. Where is it? No, need to get it over here. Hail. Right. Let's talk about Celtic. And actually, who wants to come on live tonight? Anybody want to come on live? Because I might just get someone on as well. New contract for Matt, and he does the business. What about... Right, let's talk about the first half, because the first half I thought we were pretty poor. I thought we'll talk about the Sevconians in a minute and the meltdown that's coming from them. And I did say this morning, Brendan Rodgers isn't here to take part. He's here to take over. That T-shirt is from 2017. I kept that since 2017. I must have known. Baz, it's going to be a long, beautiful Saturday in Scotland, and usually Sunday. Right, that's it. Beer time. Beer o'clock. Looking for beer. And just seeing the meltdown. Right, I'll switch off that. Let's talk about the game. What do you think about Yang? Because I think that Paulo Bernardo is definitely the better player. I thought Paulo's maybe had a bad game the other week, but Yang for me just didn't do it the first half. I'm glad Brendan pulled him off, because Brendan obviously thought the exact same. And then the substitutions are what made it. Kyogo didn't. And what about James Forrest? James Forrest with a header. Has James Forrest ever scored a header in his entire life? Has he ever scored a header in his entire life? He was unlucky with that one. The boo boys are ringing out. Yang's first touch and final ball is rubbish. Yet James, I completely agree with that. I thought he was that far off the boil. I don't think he's going to have to really go some to be better than Leo Labada, because I think Leo Labada, I don't think Yang had the pace. And if this is the type of player that we're bringing in to try and be better than Jota, do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Right, I want to just have a quick look at the league table. I'd play Bernardo as well, right from the start. Let me just do this. SP. Go press that. And then just get the table, because I've not had a look at the table since last night, and it'd be good just to get it. So Celtic are on 7. We've played 7 games. We're on 19 points. St Mirren are still there on 15, which is good. The Sevco, that means I need to turn that down a bit. The Sevco are on 12 points. They're not, the league's ours to throw away now. Is it bad saying that at this time? We're not even in October, and we're talking about wrapping up the league already. Is that bad? Good evening, Baz. What a good day. And has Bill been? Is that Aberdeen? Do you know what I mean? I had said it was a massive game for Aberdeen, because I thought if Aberdeen don't win, they're going to be stuck on 5 points, right? And they're going to be dragged into a relegation battle. Now they've jumped up to 7th in the league. So fair play to Barry Robson, who was a fantastic Celtic player in his day. We'll just throw that in. He was a fantastic Celtic player in his day, and he's obviously went up to Aberdeen and finished off his career and become manager. So hats off to Barry Robson for getting that win today. Let's just hope they can maintain that and climb the league. And let's hope that Beale stays in his job and that Hearts and Motherwell overtake them next week. Because let's face it, I think Motherwell will win their next game. I thought Motherwell were good today, but Celtic, Motherwell were good the way that they sat back. And it's just a typical game in Scotland. And once they did kind of open up with about 10, 15 minutes to go, and it's just, we've spoke about this, and Brendan Rodgers has spoke about it. The majority of our games will be played in the last 20 minutes. You know, you're going to spend the best part of an hour and a bit watching absolutely nothing, and then it's going to get exciting with about 10, 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, and that's the way it worked out to get again. Smashed it like a hug today. We'll never sell our club for £1. The league will be over after the next Glasgow derby. Beale going by Halloween, says James. When you look at the league table and the goal difference, right? We've got a goal difference of 12 now. We're not dropping that. That was a massive, massive win for Celtic. I'm going to be honest. I thought we were going in the last 15 minutes, and I'm thinking we're dropping points today. We're honestly going to drop points today, and I was fearing the worst. I was fearing the worst until Lewis Palmer, was it a cross? Who cares? Cross comes short. He hits a screamer and it goes in the back of the net. Lewis Palmer, for me, did a lot more in the second half compared to Yang. Let's talk about Rio Hatate. How do you feel that Rio Hatate played today? Because I thought, some of Rio's passing was when I was at Celtic Park in 2020, the lad beside me showed me a score on his phone. We won 5-0. Tell me what you think about Rio Hatate, because I thought Rio Hatate's passing was quite poor today. Chris Sutton, if you watched this morning's video, Chris Sutton threw down the gauntlet to him and said, get back to the form that you had last season. Get back to the form and prove that you're worth this 5-year deal. And today, he was off the boil. I thought Rio Hatate might have come off quicker than what he did. When you look at the bench at Celtic, I don't think we're as strong as last year on the bench. Let's get back to some of the comments. It's not bad, Baz. It's clear that we're going to win it. It is clear that we're going to win the league, but you're wanting a little bit of competition. Come on, it's going to be over by Easter. Let's face it. The league will be done and dusted by Easter this year, well before the split. And it's bad. Is it bad saying that at this time? Or is it the fact that Brendan is here not to take part, but to take over? Rio still looks as if he's carrying his injury. he's still not 100%. He's still not 100%. Some of his passing today went off the boil. Bain, my goodness, Bain. He actually, before we scored, he actually had more saves than they did. They had more shots on target. And I think still there, Baz. That's true. The big Glasgow derby. There's still a massive Glasgow derby battle kicking out. I mean, St Mirren are still there in second. I will expect Hearts and Motherwell to close the gap over Sevco. And I would expect Sevco to drop down to fifth position in the next couple of weeks, if I'm being perfectly honest. And that would be absolutely fantastic. But brilliant. I've been calling how Tatty out for months, says Martin. And he's been wash. I hope Turnbull runs out the door if he can't get a game when Hatate is that bad. Yep, banners will be out at full force, saying it's time for a beer. So St Mirren are still there. Right. I mean, when you look at the league table, from really... Wait a minute. It's a football chat. Right. Do you know what makes it even better today? I've just been informed. Because I don't obviously watch them. It was their annual Armed Forces Day today. It was their annual Armed Forces Day. And they did the Armed Forces proud. They did the Armed Forces proud. I thought it was pushing to the side until I looked up. A cream bun, my neighbour. The Boo Brigade. Let's get that video back up just to get the boos. Where is it? The video my brother sent me. And we'll have to get these boos again. Have to get this back up. In fact, you know what we've not done this week? And what we usually do on the channel is we'll hear if Little Miss Crying Face is about again. You remember her? Remember the last time? And let's see what some of their staff were saying. 32 minutes and they still haven't put anything out on social media. Oh, have they just sacked Beale? Beale must stay. Usually we'd look for Mr. Disappointed. We all know who he is. That was Bish, Gibraltar the day. The Huns are lucky to make the top six after that. Did Palmer play? Palmer was on the second half. Palmer scored. He was the first one to score. So I was looking at the Sevco's Twitter to try and find out if we could hear the girl that was a bit crying the last time. And they've not put anything out at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing on their social media. Wow. 32 minutes after the game. Beale is the best. So we can't even get an update from Sevco land because 33 minutes ago was the last time that they put anything up. So we're not going to hear on how disappointed they were. Maybe he's left. Maybe the rest. I watched both games, both perfect, says Mappy. It was just I was just a boo to ask about the greeting bird, says James. Yeah, she isn't there, so they haven't come out with anything. Tick tock, says Martin. Right, let's get some of the headlines because obviously Celtic won today, and Brendan Rodgers outfit the first half. Matt O'Reilly's goal. What an absolute cracker of a goal! What an absolute cracker of a goal! The injury. What can you say about the referee? We'll talk about the referee first because I thought the first half the referee was absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Was it more than a booking when Hatate gets kicked in the face? Was it more than a booking for that? It doesn't matter what the ref does against us. We've always got to go out there and got to beat them. Lanky could be a monster. One of my mates, actually, if you want to talk about coupons, where is this one? Where is it, Jerry? One guy just won 950. Where is it? There we go. Look at that. Get that up there. That's what you call a coupon. It's just won £950. What do we expect for Colin? Absolutely nothing. Still mentioning the zombie cop. Rangers channel incorrectly noted that they were winning 1-0 at half time. There's that in Clydebank. Tell me where you're all watching from tonight. I thought Colin was just Willie Colin. He's absolutely garbage as a ref. I thought when Rio Tati was kicked in the face, it was definitely more. Why didn't it go to VAR? Kyogo was also pulled down at one point when the last man, the defender, should have been called up about that. Nothing went to VAR. Bain saved us, I thought, a good couple of times. They had, at one point, Motherwell had more shots on target than Celtic today. And it was a bit of a worry. Let's not gloss over the fact, if we play like that in Europe, we're going to get absolutely hammered. We are going to get absolutely hammered. New Forest. The New Forest, what a lovely part of the world. If we play like that, let's not gloss over the first half, because we were pretty much ranked rotten. And Yang couldn't dribble past players today. Yang couldn't get past players. Couldn't get past them at all. That was a nasty boot in the head. It was a nasty put in the head. And I thought, anywhere else on the pitch, you've got to be saying that's a red card, surely. It's dangerous play. But they're all saying, look, he put his head down. Well, you've got your foot high. You know what I mean? And your stud shown. His studs are shown. If that connects with his leg, that's a sending off, surely. If he goes in with his stud shown like that, it's a sending off. But anyway, who cares? The fact that we had to really dig in this afternoon, that's something that let's see what Brendan Rodgers was saying, actually, because I've not listened to that. Where is it? Brendan, going on to this. Let me just see. We'll see what Brendan said after the game, because I've not had time. There we go. See what Brendan Rodgers said after the game today. Try and not get it picked up in the mic, in case Celtic tried to. So, Brendan, a fantastic win, says Brendan. He thought we were the dominant team. I would agree with that. This is a couple of weeks in a row now that Brendan Rodgers has been talking about the final quality. Hail from the borough of Glasgow. Brendan Rodgers has been talking about the quality in the final third. That comes down to Yang. Yang couldn't get past anybody today. Brendan Rodgers said the players kept calm. If this was Ange Postecoglou, he'd be talking about the "we never stop" attitude, and it's not that Ange Postecoglou brought that in. Celtic throughout history, Celtic going back to even Tommy Burns, the amount of goals under Tommy Burns that Celtic scored in the final stages of a game. Brendan Rodgers disappointed with the equaliser. Yeah, see, even Brendan Rodgers said it. The club's history, Celtic's history, is built on late goals, and it is, and it's just one of those things. It was that. Greg Taylor with another cracking cross, and well, what can you say? What can you say about Matt O'Reilly? We've got a habit. I've got a tattoo on my leg, and if you remember back to a good few years ago, I think it was 2016, Celtic won a late goal at Motherwell, and Motherwell put all the pictures of the broken seats in the papers, and basically saying that the Green Brigade trashed in place. But it wasn't. It was the fact that the seats were that decrepit back in that day. Everyone put their feet up, and there was a surge forward, a bit like today. Some people did maybe go over the barrier or into the pitch, but it was ecstatic. We scored a late goal, and we did the exact same today again. 97th minute won it. Aye. To his right side. It's an incredible finish from Mattarella, says Brendan Rodgers. Right. He now says congratulations to the board because they put in that much hard work over the last couple of months to get all these players tied up. And I noticed one of the comments on the YouTube says, a bag of cans up the road, get in Brendan and the lads. We're all the boo boys that are going to moan about the side-to-side passing from the first half. I thought we did have to do that. It's not the fact that Brendan wants the team to play this side-to-side passing. It's the only way that we're trying to break teams down. When you see how well organised Motherwell were, and what's the story of the tattoo then? Oh, the tattoo. Yeah, I got that the very next day after that Motherwell game, and I was still half pissed for it. It was a Friday night game. It was one of the only Friday night games that Celtic have ever had. And we all got absolutely hammered, and I got the tattoo the very next day. And then on the Tuesday, we all got our letters banning us from the game. That was interesting. But anyway, we move on. No spanners needed tonight yet. I'll switch all the spanners off, actually. Let's get some of the comments. So the Samaritans will be busy tonight, and so Shelter Scotland. We had to win. We had to win today. Here's the thing, right? Liam Scales. Let's talk about Liam Scales. Oh, I'm only talking about Liam Scales because I just seen Feed the Bear comment with crying faces. Is Liam Scales the brand new Roy Aitken for Celtic? Because that's the type of player that I see Liam Scales turning into, a Roy Aitken type player. Is he going to be that good for Celtic that he's going to be the guy that's going to partner? Because I don't think Phillips is all the player that he's made out to be. I think when Cameron Carter-Vickers comes back in, you're going to have Liam Scales partner him. That could be the partnership to go on for a good few years. And anyone else that comes in are going to have to try and get the two out. Neil Lennon spotted that Ibrox been smuggled into Ibrox. Right. Scales is maturing and a solid defender. It is something today, and I think that he reminds me of a young Roy Aitken at the time. You're going back to the early 80s for this, but I mean, he's got that in him. Some of the runs that he's making forward in that now, and it's shown confidence. It's really shown confidence in him and grown in stature as a player. And he's one guy that's it's like you can actually think and you can look at now and you're like, do you know what? He's actually going to turn out really decent for us. I was terrified where he was in the team sheet a few weeks ago, but he's brilliant. No nonsense, says Ian McKenzie. Exactly. Scales is good, but he's not the bear, says Feed the Bear. I'm not saying he's not as good as the bear now. He's still a younger player. But can he progress to be as good as Roy Aitken? That's what I'm saying. Can he become that type of player that can stay at Celtic for the next 6 or 7 years? Do you know what I mean? And finish his career at Celtic, a bit like Roy Aitken. Well, Roy Aitken went to Aberdeen. Liam Scales went to Aberdeen also. Roy Aitken finished his career up in Aberdeen. That's where I'm seeing the similarities. Taylor was really good today, says Mappy. He loves Celtic. Yes, that's the thing about Scales. He loves Celtic. Do you know, he loves Celtic. He loves everything about us. He is one of us, and he's Irish. That'll keep a lot of people happy, and that's all you want. Here's to Scales. You never thought you'd say that a year ago, did you, when we pumped him off to Aberdeen on loan? Because everyone said that he's not good enough. Get him away to Aberdeen. Scales made a few brilliant interventions today. Let's get some more of the comments. You're all missing the point. He's getting better at the game. He is getting better. This is why I'm asking this, Johnny. And this is the only reason I said it. And the comparison that I'm putting to him as a Roy Aitken type player is the runs that he's now making. It is, Big Roy was a bear though. Yeah, Big Roy was a bear. But when you see how quick that Liam Scales has progressed over the last season and a half, because let's face it, when we sent him off to Aberdeen, Liam Scales was getting absolutely nowhere near the first team at Celtic. Nowhere near the first team at Celtic. He was not getting near the first team. He could not break into that first team if he tried, right? He was sent off up to Aberdeen. He scores a goal against the Zombies. Aberdeen wanted him. Barry Robson was absolute adamant. He was the first player that Barry Robson wanted back this summer. first player that Barry Robson wanted back. And it's just circumstance. And he was this close to going back to Aberdeen. He was that close to going back to Aberdeen. He's been given his chance. Down to just pure, sheer unluck from some players, but luck on his behalf. Luck that players got injured when they did. And he's totally risen to the occasion. He is one player that has completely went, you know what? This is my big chance. This is my big chance. Reece Bell says, Scales represents the whole of Ireland in the Champions League. He's the only Irish player. If he keeps it up, he'll become a national sensation. Absolute unit. I think you're up there. I think you're right. I start Scales every week. I watched the game in 2 different streams, 1 minute behind, 1 minute in front. And the Tannion couldn't believe my eyes and ears, says Tam Mac. Johnny Briggs says that he's going to be a monster. I think he's going to. He is going to be a monster. Danny says it'll be interesting to see who Brendan Rodgers plays in defence for the Lazio game, as Phillips has to be a starter. Does Philip have to be a starter? He got booked, didn't he, today? Come on. I'm not sure if Phillips has to be a starter. Is he up there and ready enough? Has he had enough game time? It's an interesting one. He obviously needs to start at some point, but Gustav has done not too bad. He's done not too bad, but you're looking for the champion. Listen, this is why Phillips was brought into the club. This is why Phillips was brought in to basically save us from the injury list that we've got. Now, when I'm talking about when Cameron Carter-Vickers comes back, everyone to a man thought when Cameron Carter-Vickers come back that Phillips is probably going to go with Scales, go with Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, I still don't get it why it's a 6 months loan, says Dan. I think it's only a 6 month loan because of the injuries. He has said, Phillips did say that Celtic have said that they'll sit down and talk about it. I never got that. What was the message? Give me 2 seconds. Oh, you did? Oh, you sent my photo. Cool. What you want, anyway? Yes, please do. Yes, right. Anyway, right. Evening Baz. Let's get back to the comments. Evening Baz. Enough today. Come on, sheep. We are Aberdeen. Good result. Next signing Scales in long term. Steak for dinner tonight, definitely, and onion and mushroom, maybe some chips, and wee sheep for dessert. We're all having lamb chops tonight, that's a certainty. His game has definitely come on since then. I started paying attention, and the football in the early 80s, I think Scales has the look of the bear, definitely, Ali, this is what I'm talking about. He'll get better and better, as you say, and it's exciting times for us. It's absolutely banging. Like, the reason that I said that I think that Scales could maybe be the next Roy Aitken, the way that Roy developed as a player, you've got to remember, Roy came into Celtic at a very, very young time, a very young age. I think he came into Celtic about... Roy Aitken didn't start playing football. This is an interesting fact that nobody knows. Roy Aitken was actually a basketball player before he played for Celtic in his youth. He didn't start playing football until he was about 13, 14, Roy Aitken. You know, he didn't come through the Celtic youth system. That came from a guy that actually stayed 2 doors down for Big Roy. Right. And the reason that I said that was I believe that he's going to come on. Scales is going to come on as a player. Look back to 2 seasons ago when he couldn't get near the team, and it was last season, it was like, well, he's not going to get any game time, so put him out on loan. He'd been at Celtic a couple of years, and you know, everyone thought he's came from Ireland. Is he going to make it? Nah. But he's the type of player that went up to Aberdeen, he'd done the business, and he's came back and he's been given his big chance. I think he's grown in stature. We're 7 games into the season. If someone had told me during the summer that Liam Scales, I said during the summer that Liam Scales has got a big decision to make. Liam Scales is going to have to go back to Aberdeen, and I thought he was guaranteed to go back to Aberdeen just to get game time, because we all knew that Cameron Carter-Vickers was going to come back straight away. We didn't expect him to get injured. We knew that he had his operation. We still thought that Carl Starfelt was going to be here. We never knew that Carl Starfelt was going to get sold. But then once he was sold, we started bringing in defenders. You know, And I think he's grabbed his chance. And I've stated it a couple of weeks ago. I says, come the end of the season, we're going to go on a run from December onwards, and it's going to be Carter Vickers and Scales that's up there. What's Nat Phillips' transfer value? Says Danny. I'm sure it's around about 10 million, but I don't know how they can get 10 million for a player that's hardly played for them. He's got good, big. He's got character, big balls. Says Johnny. And I should grow in hand as a child, never recovered. I've got loads of pictures with me and Roy Aitken as a youngster, due to the fact he was my dad's mate. And an interesting fact, it was Big Roy that used to give us all our tickets for games to start with. No thanks on Phillips, says Martin. Let's talk Lazio. How can we honestly get a result out of this game? And by the way, Scales earned his place. Scales did earn his place. And let's talk about the Lazio game tomorrow night. We'll talk about that tomorrow night on the live, Peter. Because I want to look at the Lazio game. They're struggling a bit. So I want to go away tonight, tomorrow morning. I want to watch some of their stuff and dig into Lazio. But looking at it from our point of view, if we the fan invasion, the fan invasion for both teams was absolutely mad. Motherwell's always got that on them, and but let's get back to Lazio. If we play like we did the first half against Lazio, Brendan Rodgers said in his interview afterwards the game today, he said, "Look, the final third let us down again. Lucky boy, Baz. Yeah, I was that. Brendan Rodgers said the final third again let us down, and it's okay going forward, but Lazio aren't going to sit back. There was a couple of, if you look at the stats, let's see if we can get the stats for the actual game, because I'm sure Motherwell at one point had more chances on target than us. Results. Let me just see if I can get the actual stats from the game today. Kilmarnock drew with St Mirren. That's a massive, absolutely massive one for Aberdeen. Celtic commentary stats. Let's get the stats. Match stats. And that's absolutely useless. Gives us nothing. No, I'll have to look at the other stats because I'm sure that they had more shots on target than what we did, certainly in the different half. Because if you look at the way that Bain saved us, Bain saved us with his foot. He had three good saves before we even had a shot on target. If we play like that against Lazio, we should play counter for a Lazio game. Martin says they're too weak for speed attacks. I think if we play like we did before, it's a bad. The sheep are tied to a pole in Aberdeen. Right, but anyway, getting back to the Lazio game. If we play like we did in the first half, I don't think we're going to do much. But I think Baz got to go back to work. See you tomorrow. All right, see you later on, Davey. If we play like we did the first half, I don't think we're going to get anything from Lazio. Can we get something from Lazio? Yes, I think we can. Can we win it? I definitely think we can win it. But we need to be more clinical. Fiedler Roy is a legend. Got me some boys from 1980 Cup final signed one of the players. Is a legend. He is a true legend and a gent. And it's mental to think that he went on and had an absolutely fantastic assistant manager's career in Saudi Arabia for years, way before it was trendy for players to go to that end of the world. Right, let's see what some of the Celtic headlines are this afternoon. Obviously, all the headlines are going to be about the fact that the Sevclonians lost, but we don't care about that. Brendan Rodgers did go on to credit both Matt O'Reilly and the board on the one that we'll listen to. The video, he did go on to credit the board with the fact that the board have went on and secured all the players that he asked them to do. Matt O'Reilly's performance was absolutely fantastic. It was a dramatic. When they scored, you're thinking, my goodness, right? Comes in for the wing and we're just playing awful. But Matt O'Reilly today and Greg Taylor for putting that cross in, and Matt O'Reilly for hitting it with his wrong foot. Right, Johnny Briggs, let's get back to the pitch was perfect too. Yep, it was that. Jimmy Carey says, I don't like early Saturday games. Players are always poor. I thought we did. Well, we kind of dominated. We did dominate the game for the first half. All right, for Paisley says Rambo. Tom, that's the word for them. You'll all get banned if you do that tomorrow on the Beach Boys. What's happening across the city? Covering up the cracks. We have been garbage all season, says Beach Boys. The only chance we've had for points in the Champions League is Feyenoord at home, he says. The tackle on Taylor was a red card. If you ask him, we have to talk about that. That one, it is lucky that Greg Taylor's leg and his knee actually bent, because that's a leg breaker. That's a leg breaker all day long. I'm glad you mentioned that again, Ron, because why was the referee? What can you say? It's that referee. She dragged me out of my store. Stam Mac, you missed that. I missed it as well. I was at the supermarket. I was at the supermarket when it was all kicking off over the other side of Glasgow. Anyway, let's get back to Ron. Says it was a red card all day long. I think it was a red card all day long. Why VAR never picked it up for dangerous play? Because Warnock for the hot seat. Who cares? Why was it an early kickoff? As it wasn't on Sky or normal 10. Yes, Peter. It was an early kickoff because Motherwell wanted to make the game pay-per-view. How they got away with this, I'll never know. They made it pay-per-view subscription on a service that wasn't on Sky or anything, and it was £15 for the game. Known for the fact that there's going to be thousands and thousands of Celtic fans all around the world that maybe paid for it. I certainly wasn't going to pay for it. It was free on Celtic TV out here, so we were quite lucky that we watched it on Celtic TV in the pub. But I think it's absolutely disgusting that they got the time changed. It was a 3 o'clock kickoff all day long, and they got it made to an early kickoff because they wanted to televise the game on their own channel. Let's get back to some of the comments. Lanky says it's Baltic on the south side, -7, and we've not even started with our so-called weak team. Yes, our so-called weak team, our weak defence, our defence that's been in crisis. Think back to the headlines just 4 weeks ago. Celtic defence in crisis. Celtic defenceless crisis. San Francisco said Taylor lucky didn't break his leg. Exactly. When I seen it at first time, I thought that's a red card. It's a red card. All day long, it's a red card, but nothing happened to it. Nothing happened to it as well. Some nice classic trips there. Yes, they are, John. And that's only some. And if you look at this, that's obviously the 1988 one. Umbro original. That's a cracker. That was one of the very first long sleeve tops that ever came out, the Celtic. And then you've got that Umbro one, cracker. And then remember NTL Digital, that one. NTL then just changed to NTL, and then they went with the white one. That's an original Bumblebee top as well. So that should actually be away back there because that predates a lot of them. That's only some of the tops. The rest are all in the room next door. We're forgetting that we are not that good, but they are crap. How is that allowed by us, the PPF? I have no idea, Jimmy. I have no idea. If this is the case, that teams can now go and say, right, the game isn't on Sky. We want to change it so that we can do pay-per-view. Why aren't Celtic doing that? Because Celtic could change the game but then Celtic's got such a big travelling support, and especially for home games. If you start mucking about the buses that all come from Ireland, for coming way up north, for coming for the Grampian bus, the Inverness bus, and the buses that come up for Liverpool. I don't know if the Coventry bus is on the go, the Liverpool Emerald 313 bus, Coventry bus. There's lots of buses that travel from all over. And when it comes to the amount of buses that come over from Ireland, they've got to get the ferry back. So is it worth it for Celtic to go down the whole pay-per-view? Celtic probably make more on a match day experience where everybody's spending money on the ground. Do you know what I mean? And people buying merchandise. People would probably spend, Celtic will make more money that way. So I've no idea how they managed to change the game today for pay-per-view. It has set a bit of a precedent, if you ask me. But anyway, we're only getting warmed up. We'll destroy the cream buns. They'll have a new manager by the time we play them. That's what I think. What a match. I need a new heart, says Jeff Ray. It should all be pay-per-view. More money than we get now. Do you know what? It might be. I'm not too sure. I'd need to look into it to see exactly if it would be financially viable for. It depends how much money we get off of Sky, because I know that we get a certain amount for coming top of the league, and then the 30 million is then split between the rest of the teams. You'd get a lot of teams saying it's a bad thing because then they wouldn't make as much money unless it's the Celtic or Sevco game. But then not a lot of people are going to watch Sevco games. It's going to be, let's face it, it's going to be more Celtic fans watching the games than Rangers fans over the next couple of weeks, because they completely abandoned Ibrox. Oh, where is he? Where's you know my name? Where is he tonight? Has anybody seen him? It's a little bit quiet. Let's check out the stats just to see how many people. Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up also. Oh, that's not that one. Yeah, it is. There's only 55. Come on, going for 55 thumbs up. Yeah, get the thumbs up going. We have 1 billion fans. O'Reilly, I believe Beelan is out. Wasn't going to drink today, but Big Carlsberg. We don't do walking away. We do running out the door. At Ibrox and making sure that nobody's there come the 80th minute. I switched off the TV when they equalised. I never saw we won until I saw you celebrate. Was that in the YouTube video earlier? We don't do walking away, says Jimmy. Beach Boys, basically, Motherwell and the SPL, we got together and came up with a new idea to screw the Celtic fans out of more money. Yeah, pretty much. Brilliant day of the day, we never stop. We have got that. See this mantra that we never stop? It was maybe a saying that Ange Postecoglou said, but Brendan Rodgers said today after the game on Celtic TV, he says, look, Celtic have a history of scoring late goals. So although Ange can take the plaudits for the whole we never stop mantra, I think Celtic have a history of scoring late goals. You can go back to the 1990s under Tommy Burns. The amount of late goals that Tommy Burns' team scored to keep us on tabs with Walter Smith's all-conquering side at that time was unbelievable. Hatate still has to improve. His passing is awful. Yes, says Norman. My mantra is to trust the process, says Lanky. My mantra is to believe that we've got the right man for the job. There's not many people now saying that Brendan shouldn't be back at Celtic. And we always knew that was going to happen. Anyway, check out some of the other tops. And get to the modern day ones. And laugh about that. Is the cracker. That is the cracker, that one. The original Bumblebee top. I think I've got about 30 tops altogether. Right. Let's get back to centenary season at Hampden. Treble season, we never stop. The treble season, we never stop. You've got to remember, Brendan Rodgers set us on the road for the quadruple treble. So we had that whole mantra of we never stop way before the centenary season. The centenary season, 1988, winning the league and then going on to win the Scottish Cup at Hampden against Dundee United. What a season that was. And I was just a young lad at that time. And 1988 was such a long time ago, but what a team that was. They knew, Rodgers at Hampden, oh my goodness, into injury time. I've never seen Hampden erupt like it did that day, Beach Boys. Frank McAvenny, a player. Rodgers, that goal, and then running over to that corner. Jesus, I think I must have moved about 4 seating positions, 4 rows down Hampden that day. Singing happy birthday to Celtic. Go on, Brendan. Spurs are winning 1-0. Who cares? I don't care. Big Billy installed that in the 1987-88 season. And you've got to remember, that was Billy McNeil's second turn as manager. Hatate will find his feet again. just a bit ring rusty. Yep, I think as Brendan is setting the right desire in the team. Brendan Rodgers did say, he said, this club has a history. It has a history of scoring late goals. And, you know, it is what a club. What a club. It is just never known anything like it. But I thought, we're all sitting in the pub and I'm thinking, we're going to drop points here. When they scored, I seriously thought that we were going to drop points. Kaiser, do you want to come on? Yes. Let's see if we can kind of do that because I'm live. Let me just check. There we go. Invite. Copy. Let's get Kaiser on just for the laughs. But Kaiser, do not swear or I'll kick you off. Kaiser, go into your Twitter. And we'll get you on just for the giggles. Are you seeing my message? Are you listening, Kaiser? Right. Messages. Kaiser. Right, you should have it. And then I'll see how this works because I've never done this before. Give me 2 seconds. We're going to get the mad Kaiser on, who's at Ibrox. And you got to admit, did you go around walking around Ibrox after the game? Kaiser is deed. Oh, lift the Kaiser, feed the bear. Palmer looks a player. Johnny Palmer. I knew he was good. We knew he had the chance of being a really good player. Kaiser get jumped on. Has Kaiser got it yet? Are you learning, Baz? Yep. I've no idea if Kaiser's got it yet. Talking about Lewis Palmer, in the video footage that you've seen of him, you knew he had a chance of being an cracking player. There he goes. He's in the house. It looks. Right, wait a minute, because I need to put my headphones on. Never thought about that, did I? I need to put some headphones on. Well, the Kaiser is going to join us. So let me just see there. There we go. Right, are you ready? Add to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, let's go, legend. I went for a wee walk. I bought myself some chicken pakora and that with my Celtic jacket on. Lots of sad faces round here. Lots of boo bells, boo. Brilliant.
Right, what did you think of the game today?
Oh, the Celtic game, right? I thought we were slow to build into the game, and then it all seemed to explode right at the end of the game, the last 20 minutes. And then, obviously, we took the lead. They came back into it, and the scenes at the end of the game were just outstanding.
That was
brilliant.
I've been to Motherwell games where that's happened before, and the fans get a bit excited and get on at the end of the pitch. But what do you think about Rio Hatate the first half?
I thought he was quite slow again. He seems to be a wee bit off the pace, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But just coming back for injury and that and trying to build in, what's that? He's a Champions League game and then a league game he's had. You know what I mean? So really building into that, bro. I think you need to give him a bit of time. You need to give him a bit of slack. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do expect his levels to rise sharply because we all know the quality.
How did you feel Yang played?
Yeah, I thought Yang was no bad. You know what I mean? He's always endeavouring. He works hard.
He does, but he needs to. He's not. I think the fact that we're always going to try and compare players now to Jota, and Jota could take on players and they could run past them. He wasn't doing that at all the first half, and that's why he got kicked off at half time.
That's why
he just couldn't. He got hooked at half time because he couldn't get past players. So
as I say, he always seems really industrious, like he's really trying hard. I'm on the C4, bro. I'm the only guy in Ibrox with C4. Don't you worry about it. It's energy just...
As long as there's no Semtex.
No, it's no Semtex. But it's C4.
C4.
Right. Just in watching one of their podcasts there. Just in for a wee browse and a wee peek about. And all the way they're talking. They think Beale is going to... They think he should be walking away. They think he should throw in the towel and walk away for the club. But in all honesty...
Like what they did in the 70th minute.
Exactly, my man. So, like, he's due a payment of like £3.5 million if they sack him. So he's going to stay there, tooth and nail, and fight to be sacked. He ain't walking away for nothing. Michael Beale does not do walking away.
No, they don't do walking away. Don't do walking away at all. What do you think? How do you think we'll do against Lazio?
I fancy our chances. Like I said, I fancied our chances in the last game, right? I always fancy Celtic's chances. I think Celtic are one of these special teams. Got a touch of magic about Celtic. That's just me speaking as a Celtic fan.
I'm totally with you. No, I'm totally with you. I against Feyenoord, if we'd managed to keep players on the pitch, because let's face it, the first half against Feyenoord, I didn't actually think that they were up to that much, and it was the sending offs that made the complete difference. You know what I mean? So 100%. I think if we can keep all the players on the pitch, and Brendan Rodgers touched on it today again. He thought the first half, the final third, were poor. Somebody actually said in the comments that, look, we still need another striker, and I think Brendan Rodgers knows that deep down. It wouldn't surprise me if we go out and bring in the Brøndby guy at the Christmas window. If we just go bugger it and we'll just pay the money. What do you think?
I think we definitely need another striker. Looking at O coming in there, right, we can all see he's a rough diamond. He needs polished up. You know what I mean? We can see that. We can see he's got potential. Some of the things he's displayed.
Yeah.
Outside his striking ability, right, because he's not really been firing in the goals, but outside of that, some of the play, the interchange, the passing, the movement he's displayed, I think are fantastic. But very much he's a development player. He's there to be developed. That's the difference between a project player.
How much further is he going to develop as a player, though? This is the only concern that I've got. We're in a position now where we've got the core of a team. And in the striking position at Celtic isn't really a position that we bring in players to develop. I mean, when you look back to Osson Edwards, right? If you look at Dumbelli, we didn't have to progress them as players. They come in and they were good. We didn't make them any better. And remember, it served them up with a lot more opportunities to score a goal, being the Celtic way, but we didn't generally make them better players. You know, so I feel that the striking position isn't a position that we bring in a rough diamond and try and make a project. You know, you've got to bring in somebody that's scored goals. I mean, and I don't think that he's definitely not a John Sutton, John Hartson type player. I mean, he's got that kind of build, but he's definitely no John Hartson. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not. But I do think that's the difference between the players that the board seem to be bringing in. And I do say the board or the recruitment team, Michael Nicholson, there's players who come to Celtic to be made better, and then there's players that are already good enough to be at Celtic. And that's what we need. That's what I was calling for, bro. A striker of European pedigree, someone who strikes fear into the heart of European defences. As soon as that ball goes forward, you can see them scuttle and panic. And I think the way we played against Feyenoord in the first half, especially before the sending offs and stuff, a bit of rash behaviour was outstanding. They're a pot one team. I think we made them look pedestrian. I think people turn around and saying they are so poor. I don't think they're really a poor team. I think we made them look poor. You know what I mean? We were outplaying them for large sections of that game.
We did a similar thing to Real Madrid for about 30 minutes last season at home. And then Real Madrid went, wait a minute, we're better than this. And then Real Madrid, what Real Madrid do? They just turn on the style and then they just play football and it just annihilates us.
They just move up through the gears, don't they, bro?
Yes, exactly. I don't think that we're anywhere near that level, but I think that if we can play like we did the first half against Feyenoord, I think we've got a bit of a chance come Wednesday night. But it's all going to come down to team selection. It is all going to come down to team selection. I wouldn't start Yang. I would start Lewis Palmer over Yang for definite. And then it depends. Let's just hope that there's no adverse effect to Taylor on that mad tackle.
Yeah, I seen him go down, bro, and I was a bit... It's hard to say, right, because Taylor hasn't been at his finest in the early stages of the season, but the last couple of games he's sort of started inverting again, playing a lot better, and I'm like, right, he seems to be regaining some of his last season's form and looking a bit better. So really, when the players go down, you worry about losing them because we've not got outstanding depth in that position to cover. Of course, we've got Anthony Scales who can maybe play left back, and who would have thought we would have been discussing Scales? I was always calling for him to get a run. You've seen me do it in chat, Baz. Seen me scream for Scales to get a run, give him a chance, he's quality. And now people who says he was absolutely dire rumpus and not Celtic levels. Now they've changed their tune.
Yeah, I won. I said during the summer, I said, look, Scales he's a player that needs to go out on loan. He definitely needs to go out on loan, purely for the fact that, he was never going to get in between Carl Starfelt and Cameron Carter-Vickers. Now, when Starfelt left, everyone thought, right, is he going to get that chance? Is he going to give him the opportunity? And then we started bringing players in. We brought in big Rocky. I think we still need to see how good Rocky is as a player. And when it comes down to it, everyone thought the defence going into the season was going to be Rocky and CCV. As it stands, I'm saying it, I'm going to say it now. I think as it stands, come the end of the season, Rocky will still be struggling to get back into the team because Scales is going to be in such good form.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. That's 100% accurate. I think the players we brought in, the money we've spent in those positions for cover, we've been really unlucky with injuries. And like I said a few weeks ago, I've been saying it, I've been beating that drum, bro. I feel like Celtic are like that snowball at the top of a hill. As we progress through this season, we're only going to get better and better and stronger and stronger. The more these players come back for injury, the more they return to the squad. The competition becomes better, training becomes better. Boom, we're rolling. We're off and rolling now. And look at the stuttering Stanleys at the other side of the city. Brilliant. I get to see it every day, man. I get to see them at my window. It's brilliant, mate. Joy.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, let's get some of the comments back up. Let's get Jeff. He says that teams are trying to target Taylor. They think he's the weak link, but he keeps proving people wrong. Celtic fans have been saying that Taylor's been needing replaced since last season. And it was go back to the season before Ange Postecoglou came, and everyone to a man was wanting Greg Taylor out the door. Greg Taylor is a player that does get a lot of stick, but then I've said it before as well. I said the Scottish players always get more stick than any international player, which is unfortunate. So yeah, that's that. Let's look, Marty Boy. What do you think about this one that Marty Boy says? Will Hart walk back in?
Yes, you've got to say yes, because he's quality. I would have liked, as we all know, right, they were calling for a left back, a striker, and a goalkeeping replacement, an option outside of Joe Hart. Maybe not a direct replacement instantly this season, but a keeper of quality who could compete with Joe Hart, because we all suspect and basically know that Joe Hart will be slinging his hook at the end of this season. He'll probably be moving on. I know none of his family's moved up to Scotland, and I know it's a short trip down to visit your family down south. But why do that trip every week when they can just stay in Scotland? You know what I mean?
I think it's widely known that he wants to take his family over to America after the end of the season. And I think that him and Brendan have had that conversation, and that's why it's so well known, because he's talking about it. But Celtic being Celtic are not going to come out and say, look, Joe Hart is leaving us at the end of the season. They'll pan it out and say, yeah, we haven't had any talks yet, blah, 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 blah. But we do need to get a keeper in. We do need to get a keeper of quality. We're going to, unless we get another really good outfield player that's Scottish, we're going to have to keep Bain in the team, because Bain's part of that Scottish contingent.
Definitely.
We don't have the money to go and get a McTominay. Is McTominay good enough? He's probably good enough to come to Celtic. At 40 million, he's never going to come near us. Nah. Celtic are never going to touch him. Is there any other Scottish player out there that is good enough to come in this Celtic midfield? No, definitely not. Not on the current form. Andy Robertson's probably the only player, but you're never going to get him away from Liverpool.
Exactly. Not on the wages that they're on and the fees they would cost.
And this is the problem that obviously Celtic have, is the fact that folk will go down, Scottish players will go down to England for big wages and big money, just for that reason alone. And it's the wee man. Get the road. That was brilliant.
Sorry, bro.
Let's see.
Don't worry. My boy Lucius says he's autistic and non-verbal. So see, when he comes in, lucky he came in clothed, bro. You know what I mean? He'd be running about pulling his top off usually and jumping about mental. But yeah, he's a good boy.
Jenny's asking you a question.
Have I spotted Lennon yet?
No.
At Ibrox? No. No.
Yeah.
Probably in the shower room. He's probably in the shower room.
I take it JTB boys talking about big Joe Hart and says it takes unfair criticism at time. I think it does take. You've got to think that the level of experience that Joe Hart has I mean, it's a no-brainer that he's number one, purely for the experience. He's done there. He's played at the top level. Do you know what I mean? You don't get 75 caps for England if you're a bad keeper. You know what I mean? You don't get 75 caps for England if you're a bad keeper, especially down there when they've got an abundance of keepers. And the fact that he came to Celtic, and we've had him for the 3 seasons. If he walks away at the end of the 3 seasons, so be it. But Celtic should have got another keeper in. Now, we all know the reason being that Scott Bain got that 3-year deal was because we had to have the Scottish contingent, and it's just unfortunate that we don't have outfield players that are good enough to either come to Celtic for the right kind of wages or come through the ranks just yet. Let's get some all the rage dropping. Oh my goodness! Right, let's get. We need another. Keane says we need to sign another striker. I've suggested one, and you'll know you maybe the right choice. Who have you suggested, Kieran? You never suggested anybody, right? Big Craig says hit the button. Like that's bad. I can't even show that. I'm not even going to. It's Jesus. Aye, smash the like button. How many likes do we have on the channel so far? We've only got 77 thumbs up. Come on. Oh, I've got 80 now. Make sure you get more 80 thumbs up. Right, let's get back to some of the comments because the comments are flying through now. Livy's number 9. Livy's number 9, do you think so? Maybe. Big Kieran Allen's talking about Roy Aitken. I met him after a 1-5-side tournament in the 80s at Butlins and Ayr. Yep, and that's where my dad became best mates with Roy Aitken, Kieran. And him and Bobby Lennox. Big Bobby Lennox at the time. Right, we have been on for over an hour. It is going to be Meltdown Sunday tomorrow. We're going to be doing a live tomorrow night around about 5:15 Celtic Park time. And hopefully it's Meltdown Sunday. Is there any games on tomorrow? I don't think there are any games on tomorrow, is there?
I don't know, brother. I don't know. I only watch Celtic, really. And because I'm here exposed to the Boo Bears, I get to check their results. And I get
it must have been quite funny on the 70th minute when they started streaming out the pitch at the stadium.
They booed the team off at half-time as well. So they started booing twice every game. Once at half-time and then at full-time. They got their boos in early. They got their boos in early because they knew it was going to be the empty seats, the empty palladium and the bigot dome. You know what I mean?
That's it. Right, let me get this video back up and we'll just hear the boos again that cried out from Ibrox. If we just get this. 102 minutes they played. They played till 5:05.
Yeah. I couldn't get food delivered for the kids, bro, because the traffic in the area, the volume of traffic that was still in the area.
Come on, blow that whistle. That was my brother said the boos from the 5,000 fans that were left at Ibrox come full time after 180 odd minutes of football, because let's face it kind of went on for just a bit longer than normal. Right, it's time to wind the video up, purely for the fact that I've got a barbecue that's burning away and I've got a couple of cracking steaks ready to go on the barbecue. So everyone have a fantastic evening. I'll let you have the last words, Pella.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, legends. Remember, when you want the stream to grow, make sure you share the content. Stick it on your social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Facebook. Share it out. Be sure you're smashing like. Support my big man Baz, one of the best content creators online. Absolutely love watching his show. Get us in anytime, Baz. I'll be here. Love you. Bye-bye.
Perfect. And I'll see you all on the next video.